It's Thursday, June 17th, and you are watching and or listening to Uniform Exchange.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It's the Uniform Exchange. It's the Uniform Exchange.
It's the Uniform Exchange.
Back.
I'm not sure what I think we've been live on YouTube now for about 20 seconds.
Correction, you have been live. We have been backstage partying.
I have been standing like an idiot live on YouTube for 20 seconds. So for those of you that were here a little bit earlier, welcome to my world and welcome to Uniform Exchange, where we get super serious, guys. Super serious.
It's Myers' world, everyone. We're just living in it.
And we
20 seconds at a time. He's got that mute button. You're muted.
We present only the most stoic opinions as to what is happening in the world of sports business. Guys, welcome to the show. I'm Michael Myers of Birdie Box and the Sports Marketer. As always, I am joined by the big sports guy, Big Sports Consulting up here, Josh Kyles, Team Marketing Report, Chris Hartwig, and Goose Island Dad number 2, Mike Smith. Guys, welcome to the show.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. What do we
Well,
have this
what
week?
free
Dad,
advertising are we getting this week for Goose Island?
Here's to
I think
all.
we're giving it.
How many do we? How many do we have this week? Is it 573? 4 viewers?
Viewers?
No, that's optimistic. 498 right now.
Okay, it's probably because we had that
We
20
just hit
second.
500. Yeah, we lost a few people. Yeah.
It's like 18% of the sports industry watching right now. That's wild.
So I'm gonna go ahead and
So, Mike,
apologize
what are we
for
drinking?
drinking that 19-ounce beer last week. So I downsized to a 16-ounce a Juice Island. It's hazy IPA with some grape juice. So
I love a good juicy beer.
yeah, keeps me hydrated through the show. You know what I mean?
It does, and I
I
do.
don't.
Well, gentlemen, I do think it's
Costco
time.
water.
Rack it up, I got a bill. Make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on it.
You got cut off on that vodka-filled water bottle.
He really did. He really did.
I haven't turned
all right.
21 yet, so I'm not allowed to drink. So you guys are teasing me.
I swear, every week you get a year younger. I don't get it.
Well, you know.
Benjamin
Your hair,
Kales.
your hair does get longer every week. I will admit. It's unfortunate.
Topic
All right.
number one.
Topic number 1. You might have heard something about this. We might have spoken about this at some point, but Mark Emmert has made his way into the commissioner's office on Broadway in New York City, and he's explained to Rob Manfred exactly what needs to be done to save baseball. Now they're all on the same page, and honestly, it was about time. Major League Baseball sent out a memo to all teams and media and everyone else, letting them know that the teams and the players have 10 days, or at least at the time of it sending out, they had 10 days. Now it's probably, it's less than a week, to eradicate the use of all foreign substances from the pitchy fingers. Yeah, if you're
This happened. This happened in the middle of the season, right?
It did happen in the middle of the season.
Sure.
Couple of highlights, high points. If you are caught, if you are deemed to have been used foreign substances, you are suspended for 10 days with pay. Rough. It's a tough one. But you are suspended for 10 days with pay. The team cannot replace your roster spot. So that is a big deal. So for 10 days, and if you're a reliever, you could miss, as many as 7 to 10 games. But if you're a starter, you're going to miss 1 start. If another player helps you get that sticky stuff, then you're both automatically suspended. We'll see where this goes. Guys, what do you think? How are you feeling about this?
Not that nice. Not that nice.
So you don't like this?
I like I said, I think doing something like this in the middle of the season I mean, clearly the MLB went to the NCAA School of Communication, where they just obviously done a great job of keeping everybody in the loop with this.
For sure.
All
for
of
sure.
the game's
It's
leading
pretty much
pitchers seem to be
across
really
the board
happy.
in all sports. Just go to the NCAA.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's established. That's established.
We've established that.
So Josh, you have an issue with the fact that it was done in the middle of the season. So do you think they should have, knowing what's happening, they should have waited another 100 games and not done anything? Just out of curiosity, because your issue right now is that it happened in the middle of the season.
I think it's tough for pitchers, or at least that's what they're telling us.
They are doing that.
You got a guy like Tyler Glasnow with the Rays, who he's going to miss. He might miss the rest of the season due to an injury that he blames is, based around the fact that he has to now change up his grip completely on the ball. So I think doing it in the middle of the season, I understand. I mean, with the batting averages as low as they've been, but I just think it's a kind of they're not looking at the full picture here. And like Garrett Cole, who I think made a little bit more of an eloquent point last night or after 2 nights ago, after his start, where he went 8 innings, gave up 2 runs. He didn't have as many strikeouts as usual. His spin rate went down, but he was just like, guys, talk to us. And I think that they probably should have done that.
Yeah. I can't argue with that part of it. Chris?
Well, I think that they were trying to keep this thing tamped down, and they would spend the whole season. And I think they have handled from MLB and have not handled this well at all. And the heat has really gone to the roof on them, and they have to do something. But the problem is it's everybody's doing it. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's probably pretty damn close. And so you bust anybody, or you're cracking down on this. This is going to change. This is going to change everything, and it's going to look bad. I mean, we joked about it earlier this week that you're going to see the averages go from 230 to 320. I mean, as much of anything, it's partially the speeds are going to go down, but you're going to see the hitters are going to have that much more confidence. I mean, I was just talking to somebody today that was talking about, today versus 5 years ago in Major League pitching. It's insane that with the changing of the pitchers and the how hard they're throwing and now how fast they're spinning the ball. Major League players, like, you maybe see 1 pitch per at bat that's even hittable.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I don't know. I like the change. I think let's get some more exciting games. I do like a good pitching duel, but the runs have been down. I like the long ball. I think this is a good balancing act. I'm going to go back to Josh's statement. I don't think middle of the season is the right place to do this. Yeah, there's a 10-game, get your stuff together, figure out how to, get the ball and toss it. But I think it was Carlos Rodon from the Sox had an interesting statement. He's like, why are they changing this in the middle of the season? And there still is nothing that's been addressed with the Astros from a couple years ago, clearly cheated through the playoffs. And it's just like, how can you do this in the middle of the season and literally change the game like that? And it's just turn the shoulder on something as big as that. And that's where I have a bigger issue. It's like, why is nothing? It's like bigger than the elephant in the room. And I don't know if they're ever going to address that.
Well, that's funny that, I've given a lot of shilt to Mike Schilt about all this, but he's right. The baseball's a dirty little secret. He's right that if you're going to really do this, it's going to touch almost everybody. The problem I don't have a problem with them enforcing it. I agree with you guys that I think my problem with it is that you're 100 or 62 games in or whatever, and making these guys adapt on the fly. And some guys could still keep getting away with it. Some guys can't. So now, like the Astros cheating, that was advantageous to one team. What if some trainer, some guy in the bullpen coach figures out something that's not as detectable, but it's okay.
It's too early. You got to save
now
it.
end of the
Myers
timer.
just-
I didn't even get it. I haven't give the right opinion yet. So
There it is.
I'm with you guys. Okay, so I'm with you.
And now,
but
listeners, the right opinion brought to you by Michael Myers. What is it?
that's right. I believe it's the and now
And
the right
now
answer.
the right answer. Just after
Yes.
Chris making a great point gets the move on Chris for all of our listeners.
Yeah, it was. It was a
listening to the
great
audio.
long point. It was a great long point that he made. All of you made. It was great. Yes, I agree with you. But I think the mistake that Major League Baseball made is not now in changing it in the middle of the season, because I don't think they have a choice. I actually think, and I very rarely side on take the organization's side on these things, but I don't think they have a choice. I think the mistake was made at the beginning of the season when they announced that they knew it was happening, that they were going to be watching it, they were going to be tracking data. They didn't really say whether they were going to do anything about it or not. So now it's out there in the ether. Then Joe West says, "Hey, I'm going to, do a little showman act and take a guy's hat away before he goes out."
Whatever
to pitch.
happened to Hat Game? Do we have an update? We have listeners.
don't.
I get texts. I
I
people
know.
poke me. What was
I
on
don't
the
think-
hat? I'm like,
It was
we'll
all-
discuss in the
poked you?
show. Here we are. Nothing.
Yeah.
People
So
poke
just
you?
the true
Like,
story on that is that it just goes into the file of data they were gathering, because they were gathering that data off baseballs every game. They were gathering a lot more than they let on. And the bottom line is, to your point, it's 230. Since they've announced that they were going to change it, which some people changed and some people haven't, the batting average is up to 247. So it's already up 17 points, and will probably climb more when everyone cannot use anything. It's going to be interesting. I think it is going to be a more fun game to watch for the rest of the year. And pitchers will adjust. They will adapt. I think Tyler Glass now has a little bit of, again, creating a cause for the effect. He's angry. He's hurt. He's out the season. It's very rarely my fault whenever I get hurt. It's very rare. It's always, let's search and see what could be the reason I am hurt. Well, I think it's because I was gripping the ball harder. And he may be right. I'm not saying he's even wrong. But I think, holding it like an egg still has to be holding it like an egg. He says, now I have to grip it like I'm squeezing the life out of it. You don't actually. They've never told pitchers to grip it like you're squeezing the life out of it. They've always said hold it like an egg. And those were players that weren't using anything sticky. So he adjusted because he feels awkward without the sticky stuff. I'll give him that. He feels awkward, so he feels like he has to hold it harder. But you got to get back to the point where you're not holding it harder and you're throwing it without the sticky stuff. All right,
Coach Myers. Let's get to the next topic.
Yeah, next
Move on, Michael.
topic. Move on, Michael.
We need to
All
get
right.
some new some banners, the Move On Myers or something. Yeah, we need one of
What are you talking about? We only
Yeah,
have
we-
a move
any
on,
one of
Chris.
us
We only
can
have
button
one. The NBA.
What's that?
Speaking of injuries, speaking of Tyler Glasnow and his injuries, Josh, I'm going to start with you as our resident NBA expert, which I think we've agreed means you've watched more than 5 NBA games in the last year. Are
That's
injuries
funny.
ruining the NBA playoffs?
I'm going to go on mute for the record. So
Thank you for the record. Are they ruining the NBA playoffs? Probably in certain ways. There's been a lot more superstar players, all-stars, I should say, that have missed games in this playoffs than any before on record. This is already the.
Is that actually a fact? Have you verified
Yes.
what LeBron announced, that 8 All-Stars have missed
I'm
time,
not
and that's
reading-
an actual fact?
I am not reading LeBron's tweet. I'm reading facts
I'm just
from
asking,
Elias.
is that a verifiable fact?
Do you trust the Elias Sports Bureau's research?
So what is the fact? I do. What is the fact?
That there's more All-Stars have missed games in this year's NBA playoffs, 8, than any before on record. Now, what does that
Okay,
mean in
question.
terms of games? There's been 70
Question.
games.
I have a question before you finish this. I have a question. Did they take into account that maybe more All-Stars made the playoffs this year than in years past? Have they factored all that in? Are they just talking about games, mass, plays? Because there's a lot of variables that go into that statement.
You've never asked this many questions in your life about anything. And now
I just
all of a
don't buy
sudden
it.
we're
I don't buy
talking.
it. Go ahead.
Look,
You got
you don't
5
buy it.
with just data on it that he's just going to.
It's the
fact check
it's the
everything.
truth. This
Mhm.
is already. I think there's only been 4 NBA seasons where players that average 25 minutes more a game have missed more games in the playoffs, in the full playoffs, and we're only in the conference semifinals. So That's a lot. It's definitely a higher, but the number one season was last year in the bubble. So I think that the truncated schedule, the shortened schedule, is just going to lead to more injuries, regardless of, last year that might have been because they didn't have all the right training facilities and this and that. But it kind of sucks not getting to see the superstars play, especially when it comes time like this, when you have the most eyes on the game. So I don't think it's great. I don't think there's anything that could have really been done. We know there was billions on the table in terms of starting, in January of this year as opposed to December when they did. So it sucks, but I don't know that what LeBron was saying, I don't know if he's just kind of airing out his frustrations or he knows the business side too and why it had to start early. So it's just kind of a shit situation at this point.
For all you kids listening to the show right now, it's just, I can't stress this enough. You have to stretch before you play basketball. That's there. I'm done. Just got to get that out.
That's
there.
That's
he got
very,
that from
very
Elias. Important. Elias is the source for that fact.
That's his neighbor is Elias Schneider.
Elias.
We've got Coach Myers leading the call today with Dr. Mike. This is great.
That's right.
I love it.
Wait, so no, NBA expert, let me ask you something.
Yes.
What's up with the Sixers? What was like the first time? What was the crazy number that a team has blown an 18-point lead 2 games in a row, the first time ever in the playoffs or something like that? What's going on there? Are you trusting the process?
Well, clearly no. At this point, I think it was like it was over a 20-point lead to the Atlanta Hawks. I think that this is now Doc Rivers. That's his that's what he does. He blows huge series leads with the Clippers. He wins one NBA. He wins one NBA championship.
Can you imagine those timeouts? All right, boys, this is what's going to happen. Coach, we tried it last night. I don't think we should do it. Trust me.
Pass it to them. Just pass it to them. So a couple things. I do think that LeBron's doing a little bit of Tyler Glass now. It's easy to look backwards. 2, I just don't like the stat of more all-stars missing more games because you're talking about playoff total amassed games. There's a lot more teams in the playoffs than there were 23 years ago. So you're eliminating all the years where there wasn't 4 rounds or 3 rounds back when it was less than that, when it was 5-game series instead of 7-game series. It's just a weird stat. Yeah. It's just a weird stat to be like, oh, more people. It's a convenient stat. It's one you look for to be able to tell the story you want to tell. I said another stat too, but you didn't listen. It was any player. Yeah, I skipped that one.
25 minutes or more a game has nothing to do with all-stars, but it's not. But,
and see, he's cutting you off again when you're trying to use that stat.
The same fact interrupts that same thing in the fact that there's more games to have been played. So it's just a different measure of who you're talking about within those games. 25 points versus all-stars. It's just a different way to look at the same group of players. So yes. But I do think that LeBron is doing what Tyler Glasnow did, and he's looking back for the reason for all this. And it's just great news. And he's at home, so he's got a voice to tweet. Jamal Murray from Denver who tweeted the same thing? He's out of the playoffs. He got hurt, so now he's tweeting it. Look, you can't have it both ways. Major League Baseball players are saying they're getting hurt more because last season was short. If they had to play 400 games, they'd say they're getting hurt because they had to play so much, as opposed to having the ability to rest for an off season and only play 60 games. So you just can't have it every different direction on all of these. People are going to get hurt. Games are going to be played. It's just how it is, in my opinion. It's just how it is. The leagues are doing the best they can with what they got.
You're right. It is how it is, but there's still more players getting injured than there have been ever before. So that's also how it is.
Yeah, there's
I know
more.
You're not a big fan of the cause and effect, but yeah, it's okay. I believe it's probably happening at MLB for the same reasons. Hopefully, in the future, we can kind of get back to the normal schedule of things and get people more.
Have I just gotten to the point where I think everybody's full of baloney? Is that where I'm at now? I just think everybody's talking to talk.
Everybody's full of baloney.
I think that's where
a bunch of malarkey.
Can I say something? Can I just say something?
God dang it.
I mean, Josh, what about this? What about this analogy? So
yeah.
In the 90s, you had the Knicks, in the early 90s, the Pistons that just beat the shit out of everybody. I mean, that was tough as nails, NBA. And fast forward, 20 years, we're here. I mean, did this stuff happen back then? And just were players tougher? Are players more prima
Yes.
donnas now in a
Yes.
world where like just man up, man? Like I don't know. Is there like
I think the biggest difference is like everybody's looking at data now and trying to be smarter about things. And back then
you need extra data.
Back then you had defensive players of the year that just like would leave in the middle of the playoffs to go to Vegas on a bender for 4 days. So yeah, things are a little different now. Shout out to Dennis Rodman.
I think these players. I do think these players treat their body as part of the business more than they used to, too. They weren't making $29 million a year 15 years ago. So these guys are looking at it and saying, my knee hurts. I want to play longer. I'm going to sit as opposed to I'm going to play through it, where guys probably used to play through it. So I think there's
Garbage change, garbage change, garbage change.
What?
that was creepy.
What the hell is that? For any of our listeners just listening to the audio stream, you might want to find the YouTube link and see what the hell that just was. 'Cause I think it was Terry Crews, like a Terry Crews gif with Myers.
Was that from Everybody Hates Chris?
Voice. That was not my voice. I don't know.
If it's not Terry Tate office linebacker, I'm out.
That was weird.
I
guess we have a new topic now.
New topic. We have a topic change. Super Bowl ads. Have you guys seen this news? The Super Bowl ads now are going up in price again. The going rate for 2021 will be $6 million for a 30-second spot, which is up from.
We can do a uniform exchange spot for sure.
We've saved a lot of money on these topic transitions. That's for sure.
We can sell my chandelier.
God damn it! I'm buying that, and I don't want you to mark it up too much. Okay? I noticed you took it down. Don't think I didn't notice that.
The chandelier? No, I opened up a 17th uniform exchange office.
Yeah, you're on a roll, man.
I don't think I've recorded this in the same. I think I've only recorded. We've done 9 episodes. I've been in a different place every single week.
Where in the world is Josh going to be?
All right, so $6 million this year, up from $5.5 million last year. NBC doing it this year. CBS last. CBS last year made $545 million. Which for 57 minutes of sold airtime, which I did the math on that. That means they only got like 4.7 million instead of the 5.5. So they didn't get rate card for all this
losers.
Stuff. Weak sauce. But how do you guys feel about a $6 million? Oh, and I'm hearing that they're going to make you potentially buy the same amount of advertising for the Olympics because NBC has both. So in order to get the prime spot, you also have to buy Olympic ads.
A little got you there.
That is.
I'll start this one off if I can. I might be affiliated with a company that rhymes with Schmamheiser Schmush. And last year, they decided to, instead of buy a Super Bowl ad, they donated it to first responders. And a few companies did that and started this trend, which I thought was great. And the crazy thing is they still made the ads and they still put them out there, not on the Super Bowl, but people found them. They got just as much publicity through YouTube, TikTok, whatever you want to stream on. So it kind of was a 2-for-1 for them last year. I don't know if they're doubling down on everyone saw it, but we need to make money this year, kind of being greed again. But I'd love for companies right off the bat to say, great, let's find other causes to spend our millions of dollars on to help out people besides, other corporate conglomerates get rich, and then still make the commercials, make it better and funny for me personally, get them out there, and then everybody wins and kind of, do a middle finger to the raise and $6 million for 30 seconds, man.
That's what our spot cost. If somebody wants to advertise during uniform exchange,
don't knock it. That's our rate card.
It was 27 seconds of darkness, and then Myers' face hitting a button.
Is this gonna work?
It really got a lot of.
It's gonna get edited. We're gonna edit it. Nobody's gonna see it.
No, we're not.
We're not. There's no editing going on here. This is
the part about nobody seeing it might be true.
Yeah.
Well, what about the how many? 427 people are watching it right now?
516 now. We're up.
516. Wow, they heard about
Crush.
our great conversations we were having.
Yeah.
Love it.
It could have gone
NBC.
so many directions, but you stuck with what your gut was saying. Good conversation.
I don't know what I
NBC
was
is
saying.
on the hook, by the way. NBC's on the hook for $20 billion to the NFL. And for that, they get 4 Super Bowls. So I think they're trying to make as much of that back during those 4 Super Bowls as they possibly can. Because $20 billion is a pretty big number. $2 billion a year to have the rights to Sunday Night Football. And I don't know what else. I don't even remember what else.
I think it just shows. I mean, I'm pretty sure that nobody watched anything live on TV last year except for the Super Bowl. So they're just going to keep raising the prices every year. As we know, live sports is the last ticket in town. You gotta watch.
You know what?
Live.
It is no joke. This is just an example of that. They know that there aren't that many things. People are going to spend it. They're going to sell that. You know they are. They're going to sell it. They'll sell 57 minutes again. I don't know if they'll sell out, but they'll sell 57 minutes again because people are dying to get in front of people.
I just can't wait for
Brands are
that. I just can't wait for that oat milk guy to make another commercial. I'm sure they'll be right there.
That was up. That was up.
I mean, it is crazy though. The final thought on that is like it's the one thing out of everywhere you're trying to flip through commercials. It's the one thing that they're watching for is the ads. I mean, how great is that for the salespeople? Like everywhere else, you're zipping through it or you're not paying attention. It's not like the NBA finals. Everybody's like, oh, let's watch this for the ads. No, it's a beautiful thing from a business thing.
And to be honest, at some point, isn't the number in front of the M irrelevant? If you were willing to pay $4 million, will you pay 5.5? Will you pay 6.5? Like you're
Maybe
paying
not for
such an astronomical number.
Maybe not for the oat milk guys, but for most for the Schmam Schmeiser Schmushes of the world, then no.
Yes,
I'm sure that they get some type of package deal. That's probably why the average is below.
Well, it's because they're not there's so much more of a machine to this thing. The Super Bowl is the launching point or something, but those ads are going up early for teasers on YouTube, and they're and then they're getting highlighted and all the news coverage of it, and Schmash Schmishmer, their PR people are hammering that thing home.
Pronounce the wrong version right, Fred. Pronounce the wrong version right.
We're so far from the word now, I actually don't know who we're talking about anymore.
So when's the last time? Here's a question for you. When's the last time someone's gone anti-Super Bowl? I remember again in the 90s during that. Shut it down quick. Back in the 90s on Fox, didn't they do an halftime?
Yes.
Watch Mad TV kind of thing. Like, you think that could have some life again? Like enough companies once again come together, be like, not for the halftime, but like do some like come watch the commercials on our channel, like, and promise something better, more entertaining. I don't know.
I mean, they've tried that, and then what was it like? The lingerie bowl was supposed to be played on Fox at halftime or something.
Still have that one on Laserdisc.
I think that there's a lot of companies that would like to do that for a lot cheaper.
I think we should.
Right?
I don't know how anybody can top that.
No, it's the reason I still have a Laserdisc player. It's the reason I still have the player.
Well,
by the way,
the dog's okay. He's
Snoop.
Hi, Snoop. Speaking of dogs, the puppy bowl is always still a big attraction. Always a big attraction. All right, Josh. Speaking of loving puppy bowls, and I don't know where this transition comes from, but
he doesn't have any puppy bowls.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
I just saw that. There's no puppy bowls there.
Learfield.
Schmeiser Schmischen to sponsor. Sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all right. Learfield IMG College raises $242 million from their original investors, which are Endeavor. Somebody help me out. Endeavor, Silver Lake.
Altiros.
I'm sure I'm not
which is
pronouncing
Comcast.
that right. Is that right? Okay,
yeah.
There we go. For those of you that don't know,
two companies could get together, Comcast and the NCAA. I mean, can you imagine what they could do? I mean,
Comcast bringing their customer service expertise, and
if you could bring those two together, we would cure cancer and global warming within 15 minutes.
I'm actually
And
not
get
sure they're
free
not the
internet
same
for everyone.
company. I'm not sure they're not already the same
Have you ever
company.
seen him in the same place?
Yeah, the curtain's
like-
pulled back.
It's like Vin Diesel and The Rock.
You think they're the same person?
Vin Diesel. I've never been in the movie together. Have they? Have you ever seen them on screen at once? Vin Diesel and The Rock?
Yeah, man.
The Rock
Oh,
sounds
okay.
very different from Vin Diesel. Come on.
They've been in like the last 12
Practicing
Fast and
that,
Furious
Chris?
movies together.
Was that an impersonation of The Rock?
No, that was Vin Diesel.
Oh, is that an impersonation of Vin Diesel? Because I couldn't tell because it sounded so much like both of them.
That makes like it pained me to hear you. That's how bad it was.
He's eating rocks.
Yeah, like,
All right. So Learfield IMG topic. We got 24 seconds to talk about.
I only need
They
3.
represented 1,000 schools, 200 major media rights, 80% of the Power 5 schools, they handle their multimedia rights. They are a big player in that space. First of all, Chris, why do you think they're doing this? Why do you think they are raising this money? But it's not just raising the money. They also got their loan extended, the $190 million loan extended. So it amounts to $400 and some million in free cash or usable cash.
Because I look at this just like the government coming in and propping up big auto companies or banks or something. It's looked at probably by those guys as they've got a lot of money into it and it's too big to fail. And if they didn't do this, they were going to fail. You didn't push back these loans with the hits that these guys, from what I understand, that they've taken at all these guaranteed deals without seasons being played and either having to make good.
Pandemic was really hard on Learfield IMG.
Yeah,
really hard.
I mean, understandably, because college is just all shut down. And so, there's all that inventory that either wasn't paid, was never paid for, or has had so many make goods or, refunds that they're just crushed. So
I think that beyond what you were just mentioning, the missing revenue and all of, the sponsorships that went unfulfilled, the inventory, et cetera. I think part of it's probably also a response to some of these big Power 5 schools that have taken their rights in-house. And I think, when some of these numbers came out a few months ago, of what Learfield was pulling in, some of these bigger schools that totally has the infrastructure to hire up a staff and, get, you might not have the full capabilities of a Learfield IMG to leverage, but I mean, you can bring in a lot more for your school, which is what they need on an individual basis more than ever. So I think this might be a little bit of a response to that from Learfield IMG, as well as trying to leverage their new partnership with Elevate, which, this type of cash infusion for a company like Elevate, that's a lot of dollars that they can play with.
Yeah. I would imagine too that there's probably an element of this where they see the money probably starting. So these guys represent the schools and their rights and all of that inventory, but they don't represent the players of those schools. And you've got this name and likeness where money is going to shift to these players, and they're probably the ones that are looking. If they don't do something about that, they're going to be competing with the athletes of the schools they represent for that same dollar. So I think there's an element of this where they'll probably use some of that 400 and some million to try and craft. And if they can do it, terrific. Try and craft a way for them to have a piece of that NIL pie. And maybe it is going to some players and saying, look, you might be able to go out and get $1 million, but we'll give you 500,000. We represent your rights and treat it in the same way they treat a school. I don't know if they do that. I know ESPN is predicting that some people will make $1 million, but the average non-revenue sport kid's going to make 1,000 to 3,000. So is that something they go out and they pick the top 15 players and they pay them a rights fee to manage their rights while they're in college? I don't know, but I feel like this is probably some way of trying to shore that angle up a little bit. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I would be worried if I were them it goes both ways. I would say, Josh, is like, I certainly would be worried about people saying that they can take the stuff back in house, right? Because it does, why share it with somebody else?
Aren't they on contract though? Aren't they under contract, or at least are these contracts coming to an end? Is that what the deal is?
That's what
how they're getting out of that?
Like as stuff is cycling through and it's coming up for renewals or whatever, that they could lose it. Then again, these schools, the reason why the Learfield and IMG became so huge is because they couldn't
Schools
get their
weren't
heads
good at
out of
that.
their own asses. They could not figure it out. They were thinking too small or too provincial, and that was the thing that took both Learfield and IMG to another, like IMG College to another level, was that they were the ones who could now aggregate. And so now you could do these giant deals with big brands and big agencies, to 10, 20, 30, 40 schools. And the schools don't get that. That's where you bring in a smart person. A good
Clearly
person
none
is
of
doing
us.
well. No,
None of us.
No.
I hate to cut you off, but I was just
No, you don't.
handed
You do not.
breaking news. I
You
was just
were
handed. I was handed
What?
breaking news. This
Who's
is
with
new.
you?
I would just, don't worry about it. The producer.
Wait, there's a producer this whole time. He's on the
Yes, there's been
payroll. And we're
He's
still waiting
been
for a
bitching
first
about
step.
he has to do all the work, and there's a producer.
Josh
Yeah,
Schultz's
sorry.
chandelier. He was going to sell.
It's no
me.
longer
I'm so
breaking
upset.
news. It's now no longer breaking news.
Okay.
Jesus,
All right.
people. I got breaking news over here.
I don't want to hear
Uh,
about the Kardashians.
It turns out that yesterday, as of last night, this really fits with our topic of name and likeness. The 19th state has passed a law stating that they will support the students in their in monetization of their name, image, and likeness. Who is doing that? And stop.
Someone's
What
Um,
state?
not ready to
You're not going to tell us what
Man,
state?
Don't tell us.
I'm
what
not going to
state.
I'm not going to read the list of 19 states, but here's what I will say. Each
I just
state
want
has a
one.
each state has a completely different set of rules. You've got Georgia, where 75% of the revenue brought in by the athletes is going to be redistributed amongst all athletes within the school. I don't know how try and get a star player to come to Georgia to play football, knowing that 3/4 of their money is going to go to everybody else.
You're treating them like waiters working at a restaurant, splitting the tips at the end of the
Tip
night.
jar.
I'm a team player.
Virginia goes into effect in 24. California goes into effect in 23. By the way, was passed in 19. Every other state is either July 1st of 21 or sometime in 22. Mark Emmert has been quoted as saying, yeah, that sounds right. That feels right. Complete disarray. That feels right.
Oh, that was a direct quote of Mark Emmert.
That was a direct. You know what? I'm being told we have a clip of Mark Emmert. Hold on one second. We have a. That sounds right. Wow. Wow.
Wow, that
Where
Mark
are they
Emmert.
coming
Mark
from?
Emmert's rocking a beard now. Good for him.
With a 2016 Chicago Cubs World Champions hat on.
He's an interesting guy. Mark Emmert is an interesting guy.
That's a clip.
We're worried about the copyright for that, but we got permission to
Boom.
use that clip of Mark Emmert.
Oh, did we?
I was
have a
paraphrasing, but it was pretty close.
version of the clip.
That's my uncle.
Yeah,
Uncle
we
Mark.
do.
Can we see that?
New topic,
can I
new
trouble you
topic,
for a new topic, please?
New topic.
I'm sorry.
We
Did
have
somebody
a
say
British voiceover now.
you want to see? Somebody wants to see the clip again?
Please, yes. Will you please play the
Hello,
clip?
talk about topics
Yeah.
in sport, do ya?
Please play
Marsha.
the exclusive clip.
Can you roll the clip of the Mark Emmert clip? That sounds right. It's pretty good.
That's why Myers
pretty
hasn't
good.
called me. That's why he hasn't called me back since Monday. He's been working on that.
I've been
That-
tracking down.
He's been tracking down Mark Emmert.
47, and the birds didn't circle my head right. 248.
I can't control what Mark Emmert does. All right. Next topic. This one's out of control. I'm just going to read you a list and let you guys react to this, okay? This is
The number of all-stars that are injured is higher than ever.
yes, it's the number of all-stars
We've gone
that are
back
injured
to
in the
topic
NBA.
2.
All right. Jelly Smack. Chris, you'll know this as the social media company that represents your favorite artist, PewDiePie. Jelly Smack is now in bed with Combate Global and is now worth $1 billion. Okay. That's I think that is a Spanish fighting league. I'm probably wrong about that, but I believe it's a Spain-based fighting league. Josh, you can check me on that. Fact check me. Amazon just spent $302 million with France's Ligue de Football Professionnel, $100 million with Champion Leagues Italy for their rights. The Premier League just got $7 billion from Amazon, BBC Sport, BT Sport, and Sky Sports. ESPN spent $1.2 billion over 8 years for the U.S. rights for the same thing. Disney, $400 million for a season for the NHL. $2.7 billion to the NFL for 11 years and 2 Super Bowls. 7-year deal for just under $4 billion with Major League Baseball. That's all Disney. Now Triller streaming the big 3, Fight TV, Versus, which is a music streaming battle series with Timbaland and Swiss Beats. Is there some point where, first of all, holy shit, is that a lot of money bouncing around for rights? That is just a different ballgame from 15 years ago. Back when CBS had, it was $270 million to have the NFL for a season, right? And that seemed like an enormous number when it jumped to $400 million for Fox or whatever it was. Those seemed like outlandish numbers. When DirecTV did that, a ginormous, was it $10 billion over 10 years? Or was it $100 million over 10 years? I don't remember what it was. It was large, but it seemed like outlandish. They're dwarfed. They're dwarfing it with La Liga stuff from like just in Italy, and Poland's soccer league's getting $165 billion. I'm making up the stuff now, but it's out of control. Is this not crazy? Am I crazy for thinking? I mean, is it official? Sports is where everybody's mind's going now. It's just it's done. It is sports and sports first and sports only right now.
Well, to your point about this whole streaming wars thing, I saw a connection of mine at Octagon posting about there's now selling there's 9 different European football leagues pooling their rights together, and they're selling that. That's going to go for probably a huge number, their global rights.
Weakest name drop in history, my friend at Octagon. I was waiting for like an awesome name drop. It was so weak. Just your friend?
I thought you said my friend that I met in the Octagon. I was like, here we go.
Oh yeah, that's
it's
it.
on.
Oh, I don't have any friends after I'm out of the Octagon. There's no friends there.
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
I didn't want to be,
No, that's cool. Chris does that. He's always like, my friend. I was just talking to my guy Bob Nightingale yesterday, and he says
my friend
that's
Coach K told me. My good friend Coach K.
Yes.
Told me.
Good friend.
No, but we've talked about it before. I mean, sports are the last frontier of must-see television when it's actually airing. Everything else, it's like it doesn't even matter when you watch it with the streaming and everything. So yeah, I think it's kind of beneficial. But now we're just seeing all these new media companies that are involved with the rights, and obviously long-established companies like Disney that are branching out a lot more on Amazon and things like that. So yeah. It's a good time to be selling media rights, or I guess buying them if you want to spend just.
We need to get a seat at the table and get our media rights out there quick.
We'll be the first 1T deal. That's trillion, my friends. Trillion. Million, billion shit.
Uniform Exchange signs a $1 trillion deal.
And that does not sound fake at all.
Well, they heard that we already had 3,500 episodes planned. So that's
that's what we're going to have to commit to with that deal.
Right. I think everybody would be okay with that if we got $1 trillion.
Yeah, I would agree.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My mic. No, my mic.
What a douche.
So.
What a douche. I'm sorry, guys.
On, Chris,
I haven't been able to talk for a while. Can you hear me? Is this on? Is this even on?
I feel like I've been talking and no one's been listening.
Why am I even here, guys? Can you even hear me?
Can anyone hear me?
It's like a 3.5 person podcast. I don't even know how that's real. 3.5 people.
Well, when Josh unplugged himself, it was like a 20-minute problem. I just wanted to get it fixed. I'm sorry.
No,
guys. I didn't mean to let you down like that.
What's worse, that it happened or that no one noticed that it happened?
Right. Actually, people were thankful, I think is the right word. Yeah.
We're up to 1,000 viewers.
The listeners went up.
Wait, now they're dropping rapidly.
It was a sudden surge and a rapid drop.
You guys have seen during the presidential election where they have the live audience feedback thing, whatever. We just spiked. Like, we're going to be doing some looking into this. Chris is going to be the new producer coming in the next week.
My friend around the corner said that election's still going on.
Elias?
That I met in the
Elias Schneider.
Your friend Elias?
My friend Elias said that election was going on. I heard We're having isn't the other guy coming back? Oh, never mind. This is different show.
Yeah.
Very different show. Very
I
different
feel we're
show.
getting
Stated.
really close to all of us having to raise our hand on this and Myers call on us, which here it comes. Wait for it.
How about we
Next
have some
topic.
Rapid
topics?
topics.
Oh wow! Have you guys ever seen the movie Cutting Edge?
No.
No,
Man,
then you won't,
I feel
then
I
you
just
won't
feel
recognize
so bad. I
Topic.
feel so bad for everybody listening to the audio. They're not getting to see these amazing
know.
video
I have no
transitions.
idea what they're missing.
Hold on, I'll try to
Unreal.
explain it for our listeners. Imagine the worst clip you've ever seen on a YouTube like do-it-yourself video. You're thinking of it right now. That's happened 3 times in this 45-minute show, not counting the 20-second like dead time that Myers just stared at the camera.
I'm pretty sure it was more like a minute, but
I
we'll
think I'm
go
live.
back and see.
Yeah. Are we on YouTube live?
Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Are you guys on? Is anybody on?
I'm not
Can I knock
comfortable
the
with the
screen?
word.
Hello?
I'm
Anybody
not
there?
comfortable with the term Emmy frontrunner, but if that's what they're saying, that's what they're saying.
There
Okay.
was a kid from a small town that didn't know technology. The next thing, he got $1 trillion deal, and he only brought one person with him, himself.
All right. Rapid fire, guys. I just looking for responses on this. Jimmy Kimmel, LA Bowl. Have you guys heard this? Jimmy Kimmel
Yep.
is the naming rights holder and will be the name of the bowl that is played at SoFi this year on December 18th, I think he said. Jimmy Kimmel, LA Bowl.
I think they had to pay Jimmy Kimmel to put his name on to try to get people to come to a college bowl game in LA.
Well, it is on his network, so I have a sneaking suspicion there was a little bit of incommunication going on there. It's aired on ABC. He's on ABC. It's probably mutually beneficial and got a pretty decent.
Interesting. Detective Myers now on the case.
Doctor detective to you, son.
Dr. Coach.
These next two are personal. So I'm just going to talk about them.
Maybe you
World
should keep
Team
them to
Tennis.
Hold on, are we done with that? Are we done with that topic already?
Oh no,
They're
you
rapping.
talking about Jimmy Kimmel. Go ahead. This
really
is a
rapping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this-
Really quick, I just think I relate this to like the naming rights of stadiums over the last 10 years. We lost Miller Park in Milwaukee. It's like an insurance name. We're getting all these dumb names for stadiums. Like, 5 years from now, it's
we
gonna
will
be
have no
Dumbledore
chance
Stadium.
of having a sponsor on
This
this.
is
naming rights
clearly
lost by the way.
someone. This is coming from a buyer, not a seller.
Definitely.
Yes.
We appreciate your opinion.
Can you shut the hell up, please?
And we like it. He was frozen by the ad gods.
Oh.
Look at him.
Yes.
We
So
frozen.
perfect.
We're like,
The
look,
sponsorship gods punish you.
every sponsor is like, I'm out. So we're like, no, we'll freeze him. It's totally fine. AmFam, congratulations on taking over Miller Stadium. Congratulations, AmFam. Congratulations
How about-
to Guaranteed
How about
Rate.
Yes, our good
lower.com?
friends at Guaranteed Rate.
Lower.com field. The news.
I'm just here. Here's what's going to happen. 2 years from now, you're going to have Dumbledore Stadium. You're going to have these like kids
I'd
that
go
are
to
rich
that.
with Bitcoin, buying the
Hey,
rights
man.
and putting up Fart Dome, like whatever, just because they think it's funny, and you're going to sell it to whoever wants it. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. There's going to be
You're
like
ahead
the
of your time.
anti
You might be onto
cream
something.
bowl in Tampa Bay at my favorite baseball stadium. That, by the way, sent me and my family free tickets with a note saying, "Please come. We're not the worst stadium baseball."
which is great, which was very nice of them. By the way, before I went to Live Nation,
That is not true.
when I went to Live Nation, they had a naming rights partner that sort of rewrote the game for them and made them reconsider what they put on names. But 1-800-ASK-GARY was the name and title of one of the venues for Live Nation for a few years. And
I
you can
love that.
I
imagine
actually
the
don't mind
joy
that. I
of
think
that
that's great.
conference, the news conference, when they announced, guess what? Hey, welcome to 1-800-ASK-GARY Amphitheater. True
I
story.
can't wait to represent AskCoin on deals in the future. They're going to get a huge deal,
I'm
and you know
telling
what?
you,
You're
it's
all going to
gonna
be
happen
eating
if
your word.
someone doesn't step in
You're
and
going to
be like,
be.
"Guys."
I'm going to get a new chandelier, and Mike's going to be sitting there with my hand-me-down chandelier. Like, wow,
Thank you.
He really did it. It really happened.
hanging from his drop ceiling in his basement.
It's gonna touch the floor.
Pimp that out. Hey, for all your listeners to episode 1, there she is.
There she
Oh,
is.
throw
Oh, yeah, that'll-
back.
That'll
back.
definitely-
Call back.
Call back to before episode 1, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
Yeah, true story. Next topic. I don't remember where I was going with that. So, World Team Tennis. I lost myself. World Team Tennis started by Billie Jean King many years ago.
Long Beach
volunteered-
legend. I'll say Billie
Yes.
Jean King, Long Beach legend.
She is. I actually volunteered to be a grunt at the World Team Tennis event last year during the pandemic. I actually led a team of interns, which I'm not even kidding. Eli,
right.
Cole, wherever you guys are. Hello, Eli, Cole. They learned a lot. They learned some.
it's
We'll bring them on the
pronounced
show
my
next week.
friends, please.
My friends. Yes, my friends.
Once.
For 28 days at the Greenbrier, I got blue cake smashed in my face by a player. It was awesome. But they are launching their abbreviated 2021 season in Indian Wells and Palm Springs in November. They just announced it. My friend Alan Hardison is launching that, and I just want to give a shout out. I think it's going to be awesome. They're going to do a great. It's very abbreviated because of the Olympics, November 13th to the 28th. The 4 of us will be broadcasting live from Indian Wells for
Are we going?
Yes, hands down, we are.
All right,
Absolutely,
great.
we're going.
I'm
We're
in.
absolutely
It's on the schedule.
All right.
Alan is good people, so we got to do
Alan's
it.
great. He is great people. All right. Next one. This one is a very personal. I was listening to it as the podcast started. My high school, where my dad taught for 37 years and where I played baseball, won the Illinois State Championship at literally 1 minute before the podcast started was the final out. They won 4-2. So congratulations to Kurt Jones, the entire South Central Cougar team and community. I just wanted to say that. In honor
Happy
of my
Mazel.
dad, who passed away in 2007, he would have said yes. He would have said yes with like 100 exclamation points. So a yes for Jack Myers. And good night. It was a good night in Southern Illinois.
What was
tonight.
the number? Like, because I was hearing that audio. What was the number? Like, wasn't that career win like some crazy huge number, like 1,000 or something like
well,
that?
that game wasn't, but Kurt Jones, who I congratulated a second ago, did get his 800th win earlier in the season. They were
that
calling
was
back.
earlier.
They got the 800th win and won the state championship. Kurt Jones, one of the nicest people you ever meet, and a great baseball and fundamental baseball coach. So congrats to all those guys.
Congrats, Coach Jones.
There you go. On the same level, UEFA Euro 2020 championships. Same basic thing, Illinois State Championships Class A and UEFA Euro 2020 championships. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Ronaldo, healthy guy. Have you guys seen this? Nod your head if you know where I'm going with this. Ronaldo. All right, somebody else tell it then. If you know where I'm going, you tell it. I've been talking a lot.
Tell the story
Yeah.
about
I've been talking a lot.
Ronaldo
Yes,
and causing Coca-Cola's stock to just absolutely plummet.
I'm pretty
And,
sure he didn't cause that, but
No,
yes.
no, but that's what happened. He had a presser after, I don't know if it was before or after a game or what, but
After.
there was 2 bottles of Coke sitting next to him, and he looked at him. He said, "Coca-Cola," and he pushed it off, out
Was
of the
that
frame.
Ronaldo's accent?
No, that was literally. I had a recording of
Vin
Ronaldo, but I-
Diesel.
That was Vin Diesel.
Impersonating.
I was going to
We're all
say that
getting
was
really
Vin.
good at this, by the way.
And around the same time, which coincided with the start of trading here in the States, Coke's stock had plummeted about less than a percentage point, but that equates to billions of dollars for them.
Yeah, it was like 4 billion or something like that.
The reality of it was the stock had already dropped before the press conference happened, so it wasn't Ronaldo's fault. But that's kind of what the story was this week.
That's what the internet told me.
Yeah, well, you got to believe everything you see there.
We're on the internet, guys. You realize that. We're on
Well,
the
they
internet.
have to. They know to believe us.
Right. This
And
is
my
true.
friend Elias, very trustworthy guy.
I did like
yeah.
it. I did think it was interesting. He held up a water bottle and just said agua, which I think is Portuguese. If Portuguese and Spanish are the same, and Sesame Street has done well by me, that means pizza.
Right.
You guys know the main ingredient in
Oh
Goose
God,
Island beer?
Mike is drunk.
It's
Pizza.
water.
Oh, agua.
Agua. It's pronounced
Agua.
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 Actually, it's
alcohol.
pronounced agua. If you're Vin Diesel,
Diesel.
impersonating Ronaldo.
I'm guessing Ronaldo or Coke is not a sponsor of Ronaldo. I would guess.
It's
Not
what,
anymore.
He can make some quick cash though if he just drank
Just
one
puts-
in the next press conference.
Just drink one and the stock goes up $4 billion.
He makes
Yeah, I think-
300 million.
Yeah, he's doing fine financially. He probably doesn't need Coke's money, but yeah, it would make for a pretty penny. All right, next one. I just thought this was awesome. Our friend Matt Wazolik from the University of Illinois sent me this very excitedly. There is an RBI baseball / Tecmo Bowl tournament. That's a thing.
Oh, very
That's
cool.
a thing. Yes.
Sign me
And
up.
I'm thinking all four of us need to sign up for this thing. I don't care where it's. I think it's in Omaha, Nebraska. I don't care. I don't care if I go and lose in the first round, which I will not, by the way. But Josh, you even know what RBI baseball and Tecmo Bowl are?
Yeah, I think the Tecmo Bowl I definitely have played back in the day. RBI baseball.
Greatest baseball game ever made.
They need more of those out now. There's no good baseball games out now, so it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
I wish
EA
they
Sports.
Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball for the Super Nintendo. That game was fire.
It was pretty solid. I'll give you that. But RBI baseball was dope. And I was going to say, you guys are killing me. I'm losing my train. You're too funny tonight. I don't get it. I'm losing everything that I'm thinking about.
Literally didn't say anything.
know.
We're losing it.
That
I
was
was waiting for you
trying
to
to
get
like,
back in the
put
door.
out more like useless data to make me almost fall asleep and not
It was.
like sports.
Yeah,
He
it
likes
was. It was
he likes to
useless data.
wait until we're right around the hour mark to get like really boring because just like why not?
Oh, I know what I was going to
you know
say.
the stats of people playing RBI baseball now compared to the 1989 kids. Like, here we go. Let's just dig deep. And then, like, the producer hands them some urgent news of that. It's like, boring.
That sounds right.
Mark Emmert, another appearance from Mr. Emmert. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmert, for appearing on the show this week. We really appreciate you and we respect you and your leadership.
What I was going to say is that EA Sports in 2007 made the last good baseball game. There's been a lot of games come out since then, but NCAA 2007 All-Star MVP baseball was fantastic. That's the last good baseball game that came out. Yeah.
That should be the last
and the
thing
last
we say on the
topic?
podcast.
Final topic before I open it up to the floor. Final topic. There is no current update on the e-scooter championships. That's it.
That's tough.
I know. I don't have an update. It's the same. It's still awesome. It's still exciting. They're still coming. I just don't think there's been any update.
I just feel the level of care is just not going into this year as it should be. And once again,
Into the e-scooter championships.
we look to
They
the NCAA
need-
for guidance and
They need a longer off season, otherwise all these e-scooter champs are going to get hurt, and that's not
Right.
going to be good for the game.
give that man a point. Are we doing points? Can we?
Yeah,
do
we
that?
do.
Give
We
him a
got
point.
points. Well,
Give
and
me
at
a
the
point,
same
Josh.
time,
Get a point.
they're
That
starting
sounds
the
about
right
right.
way. They're not letting any of the players, any of the participants stick them on their hands to drive the things. I think everything, they've got it right this time. They're doing it
Can
right.
they use it? Can they still use it on their feet?
Ooh, tire tar.
No, just on the bottom of
I
their
don't-
shoes. Get real sticky.
I don't think so.
We're getting real sticky today, boys.
Ew. Ew.
Ew.
There was.
Ew. Sticky. All right. Anybody have anything want to add? Any topics they want to throw into the rapid fires at the end?
Is the Brooks Koepka Bryson DeChambeau feud real or manufactured for TV?
Real.
Really?
Real.
I have no idea. I have no idea what you just said. So
What
fake for TV.
So it's two golfers. It's two golfers. Two of the top 10 golfers right now, actually, that don't like each other. And there's been some funny stuff going on around it. Ooh, that's reminding me that the show is almost over.
we have
Yeah.
It's been the 17th
Seconds.
long.
We
Which
have
we have
32
forever.
seconds left.
We have 5 topics. We've had 32 gongs. We're getting close to the end. We adhere to these things so well. I think that's on me. Any topic. So the Brooks Koepka, Josh, I didn't hear what you said. Do you think it's fake or do you think it's real?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. Mostly they're pumping it up for ratings, and I think it's actually going to be good for golf.
It is good for
It's
golf.
very exciting.
It's
Nice.
pulled Mike Smith in so far. It's really got Mike Mike's locked in on the.
I mean, I love
Josh
seeing
Daly
Aaron
trying
Rodgers.
to break loose. That guy is gonna make
Woo.
his dad look like a kitty, a little kitten, coming out there driving bombs, smoking and drinking.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate the time yet again this week for the second week in a row. We
God, I wish
have
we didn't have done that stupid soundbite later. Idiot.
we have
Idiot.
the second consecutive uniform exchange after dark wrapping up. Congratulations to South Central High School for their state championships, and congratulations to the three of you for making it through another episode with me.
You're welcome.
The real champs.
See you, Jim.